The hosts of bracketology are experts in nothing. They claim no advanced knowledge or profound insights. Instead, they are just three judgmental idiots who really like to bloviate their own opinions whenever given the chance. Take what they have to say with a grain of salt, or not at all. You'll probably be better off that way.
Fellas, there's a question that I've been dying to ask, and I need to know if you could have any fictional magical beast from any medium, who would it be? And like, this could be anything from like, E.T. to Kung Fu Panda.
What do you mean have?
Do you want a second take at this? Because it sounds like you're asking us if we want to own a being.
No. If you could be like best friends with, have like a familiar,
Look, if the question is, do you want a familiar? The answer is yes.
Well, yeah, but specifically, what magical beast? It could be a dragon, like Smaug, or it could be a wyvern from Game of Thrones, because those aren't dragons; they're wyverns. What would you?
I always pronounced it as wyvern.
Well, you've always been wrong, but.
All right. I can't say that this is something I've ever put any thought into.
Come on, there's so many to choose from. Scooby-Doo.
Oh, you're just going wide. We're like really wide open here.
Yeah.
Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
That's a good one. That's a good one. He was witty.
If you wanted, a really smart-ass mean cat, then there you go.
Who used to be a dark witch.
Yep.
I mean, the immediate answer would just be a familiar, right? Like, it would just be a fucking turtle that I could talk to, and could talk to me, and could go scout things very slowly.
But you could also have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I can't have them. That's the problem with your question right now.
Yeah, the word choice is really questionable because it's
if you could be best friends, assholes. I'm not talking about indentured servitude. I'm talking about a mutually beneficial relationship where you're both friends.
But it's not just
the answer to that is Doctor Who.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, but not Doctor Who because he is a person.
He's an excuse me.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle's not a person?
Well, no, they're turtles. It has to be an animal.
Now we're getting into some weird...
But where do you draw that line? Because Doctor Who's not a human. He's Gallifreyan. Gallifreyan?
Yeah, Gallifreyan.
There's an R in there. Yeah. There's an R in there, right? Gallifreyan. Yeah. So it's not like he's a human.
But that's an alien. I'm talking about
You said E.T.
Yeah, okay.
That was literally the first example you get, which, hold on, let me think. E.T. pretty sure stands for extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
So...
Okay.
Now, do you want to rephrase this question to, if you could have a familiar, what kind of animal would be your familiar?
No. I want to know specifically.
That's the question I want to answer.
Yeah, but you don't get to. I want to know if you could have any fictional animal as a companion, who would it be?
Fictional animal as a companion.
Humans are animals, technically.
What?
Humans are animals, technically. So, like Superman, he's not human, I guess. He's Kryptonian, but they're probably mammals as well.
Non-human animals. You fucking.
Well, he's Kryptonian.
Assholes.
I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna go with Garfield. I feel like Garfield and I probably have
fuck?
I think we have a fair amount in common. We both enjoy a good lasagna.
And naps.
And naps. Yeah, absolutely.
Hate Mondays.
Yeah, God, they're the worst. I think Garfield would be a great companion. Just sit around all day, bare tummy, hanging out. Napping. Yeah, sign me up. I'm gonna go Garfield. Now, okay, so now I've kind of turned this question into, if you could have any fictional pet, which fictional pet would you pick?
See, that's a better question.
Well,
damn it.
That's why Dan doesn't usually do the cold opens, I guess.
I mean, I think that, look, I'm not a big fan of, like, it's fine, but it's not my go-to fantasy. But that giant eagle from Lord of the Rings,
Mm.
you know what I mean? That I could jump on the back and we could ride around, we could fly together. But if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just do a fucking dragon. Might as well just do a dragon. I think I'm gonna just go with dragon. Dragons are the best. Like, that is the best answer.
Is there any specific dragon that you would choose?
Not Smog.
Yeah, because he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's an absolute dick. Maybe the fat one from the D&D movie. But that's just mainly for comedy effect.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, but think about, like, How to Train Your Dragon. You could have Toothless.
Ooh, I changed my answer. The answer? Oh, shit. You just threw out Toothless.
Ooh, Toothless is a good one.
Toothless is a good one. I was going to say just Cerberus, like Hades' dog. But,
big three-headed, angry canine.
But I do think Toothless is a good answer. I think that's a good one. If I'm going to go with a specific dragon, yeah, I mean, Toothless is probably the right way to go. I'm trying to think of other good dragons.
There's the one from Neverending Story, Falcor.
Falcor is like a weird dog-dragon hybrid, and he creeps me out a little bit, if I'm being completely honest. I love the Neverending Story.
Yeah.
But Falcor, he's a little scary. Imagine that thing coming up to your window while you're trying to sleep, being like, "Hey, throw the ball."
That would be amazing.
You just have like a fucking...
It's literally the best of both worlds. I get all the cool stuff of having a dragon, but also a big-ass dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd want some kind of fighting dragon. So I think Toothless is the way to go. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so Garfield, Falcor, and Toothless are who we're going with.
This perfectly describes all of our personalities in so many ways.
One of these things just doesn't belong. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty reflective of who we are as people. And I'm okay with that. I'm in my Garfield era.
And I'm very Toothless. Like, I'll scream at you, but I'm not going to bite. And if I do, it's really just gums. Nom, 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 nom.
Hello and welcome back to Bracketology, the podcast that definitively decides all things tournament bracket style. I am co-host Sleepless in Philadelphia, Scott Grubb.
I am not giving anything away, Matt Robinson.
And I am the unchosen one, Dan Default.
This week we continue our 3-week series of mystery mini brackets. I'm excited. I'm slightly turned on. Because this week, Matt's in control, just the way I like it. Matt, what do we have coming up this week?
Well, guys, I figure it was time. We have been going at this relentlessly for over a year at this point.
You're only turning me on more.
Harder.
Get in the position, Scott. Get in the position. It is time for us to I want to play a little game with y'all. All
I'm fully erect.
And that game, it's called Revisionist History.
Oh shit.
Where we will be taking 8 should have winners and determining who should have won their bracket.
Hold on.
Correctly.
Caveat, are these all the ones that have just pissed you off? Is this Matt's second chance bracket?
So we will be going with Jason Voorhees versus Triple H, Fruity Pebbles versus the Skinwalker, Tom Selleck versus Star Wars, and Nicolas Cage versus the number 1 seed Vivian Banks.
How the fuck are we supposed to compare these things?
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. There are no parameters for us.
It's time that the two of you get 1,000 tiny paper cuts and roll around in the salt that I've been laying all over the place. Because I want you to scream.
Again.
All right. Hey, just thinking about like Tom Selleck versus Star Wars, Skinwalker versus Fruity Pebbles. This might be the most ridiculous bracket we've ever had. I love the fact that out of context, it makes no sense. I'm confused by the fact that with context, it still makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to do with this, but I'm looking forward to it.
On that note, this is just a taste, because we actually have a different bracket that we are going to be going over today. Really just wanted to see your reaction to revisionist history and kind of test the waters a little bit for me to make up a better bracket in the future.
Matt's second chance bracket. Because you notice that the two that we were upset about the most, Bob Barker and Back to the Future, weren't on the bracket. It was all Matt's.
Yeah, it's my revisionist history. That was the whole point of that fake bracket that I put together. No, we're going to do something wildly different. So this is going to be a brand new concept in terms of bracketology for you all. So I'm going to show you the contestants first, and then I'll kind of explain what it's all about. All right?
Sure.
So we've got polar bear versus the lion, hippos versus grizzly bear, tiger versus crocodile, and orca versus a bald eagle. The twist here, all of these are predators, deadly predators in the world, right? Like that's something we can all agree with. Some potentially stronger than others. Some have some good matchups, some not so good matchups. But we're going to add in a little bit of luck to the whole thing, and we're going to play Predator Roulette. Each round, in each matchup, we are going to spin a wheel that is going to give the predator for that specific wheel either an advantage or a disadvantage in a one-on-one fight.
Okay.
I'm getting zero reaction from either of you.
I'm trying to think about what a disadvantage. Like, do you take one of the paws of the polar bear off?
Potentially.
Or, like, advantage, you attach lasers to the hippo's head?
Potentially. Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm down.
So I've got a wheel, okay? And I'm going to spin that wheel, and then I will tell you the advantage and the disadvantage, or advantage or disadvantage that each of the predators have in their matchup. And then each round, we're going to spin the wheel again, and they're going to get a new advantage or disadvantage.
Is it bad that I was excited to talk about Vivian Banks versus Nicolas Cage?
So we're just going to go top to bottom, fellas.
Okay.
We're gonna make this fun and exciting for everybody by determining what the advantage or disadvantages are. Just to give you a little bit of a preview for it, some of the examples that we have for advantages or disadvantage: laser eyes, a cannon, missing an appendage, followed by an army of mosquitoes, things along those lines.
So I nailed two of those.
You
basically.
absolutely did, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So let's start with the polar bear versus the lion. Before I spin and we look at the advantages or disadvantages, just on their own, any immediate thoughts? Polar bear versus a lion, one-on-one combat?
I mean, I think a polar bear is going to take a lion. It'll be a close matchup, but I think a polar bear is just more tanky than a lion is. Lions hunt in packs for the most part, and actually the female lions do most of the hunting, whereas polar bears just fucking tank.
I don't know why you're assuming that this lion is a male lion.
I'm not assuming anything. It is a singular lion versus a singular polar bear. That's where I'm coming from.
I don't know. I feel like the lion's speed and I don't know, hunting instinct is gonna give it an advantage in that fight. I think too, we have to take into consideration the venue of this clash.
Sure.
Where are we
I did not
talking
think about a venue.
Because that that environmental factor is significantly different for these two animals.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we could also roulette that a little bit if we want.
They're meeting in the center of the squared circle in Madison Square Garden.
I just want all of these to be in the squared circle at Madison Square Garden.
Eliminate the environmental aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and let's determine the additional item for the polar bear. So I'm going to spin. I've got a list of items. I've got 18 different things. The polar bear. Ooh. Wasn't expecting this one to come up. The polar bear. There we go. Is the last of their kind.
Okay, so this is in the very near future.
You're sadly not wrong.
I don't
the
know
polar
if
bear
that's
is the last of their kind.
I don't know if that's an advantage or disadvantage, because is a polar bear smart enough to realize that he has to win? Well, if he's the last of their kind, they're doomed anyway.
I mean, kinda. All right, let's take a look at the lion's edition here.
Does the polar bear have the emotional intelligence to know it has nothing left to live for?
Yeah. Super dark. Take that, Coca-Cola, and your friendly polar bears.
All right, the lion. I need to
Emo polar bear.
It's not a phase.
The lion has a bat with spikes on it.
How the fuck does that help the lion at all?
Is he gonna like?
In all of these, assume that they are able to utilize it in one way or another.
Okay. Stretch of the imagination there.
So polar bear, the last polar bear in the world versus a lion that is using a bat with spikes. Go. Ring the bell.
I mean, so right off the bat, the lion, the only way a lion could use a bat is in its mouth, swinging his head, right? It doesn't have...
In your imagination, you have a very sad imagination.
It is a lion. It does not have the ability to grip something like a bat.
It doesn't have thumbs, Matt.
The rule of this is assume that they have the ability to use it.
But in reality, that would change the physiology.
This isn't reality.
That would change the physiology of the lion. To give him thumbs and the ability to stand up and use a bat, that's
not a lion anymore.
Yeah. It would. So, assuming that it could use the bat, it would have to pick it up with its mouth and swing it around, which takes away its most deadly weapon, which is its biting power and its jaws.
All right.
The polar bear is still standing for the last of its kind and tanking the lion.
We're going to start off on different pages here because I think the lion ultimately, again, it's got a speed advantage. It's got a hunting prowess advantage. It's got...
I don't think a polar bear is that much slower than a lion, by the way.
It's got the claws. It's got the teeth. It's got the bat with spikes. It's definitely going to be the lion.
Have you seen a polar bear's claws? They're like 3 inches long, dude.
A cat, okay, the lion also has a tongue capable of scraping skin right off the bone, not to mention the teeth and the claws. And bat with spikes. It's a lion. The lion definitely is going to win. The polar bear is dejected. It's the last of its kind. It doesn't have anything left to fight for. It's the lion.
Which means it also doesn't have anything to lose. So it's going all out. That lion is probably going to try to get back to its pride, right? Whether it's male or female, it's going to try to get back home.
It's got something to fight for.
Polar bear its home is where it is, and it is defending that home with everything it's got.
Its home is heaven because the lion killed it.
Well, Matt, right off the bat,
Jesus Christ.
with nails, you're going to have to come in and tell Scott he's wrong because he is objectively wrong.
I mean, here's the thing. Dan makes an incredible point in terms of just a polar bear in general. However, Scott said something that pushed me over the edge, which is that the lion has something to go home with, like home to. The polar bear, like, it's dejected at this point. I feel like it's sad. It doesn't care if it lives or dies. So I'm gonna move the lion forward.
According to Google, in a one-on-one fight, a polar bear would likely win against a lion. Polar bears are significantly larger and heavier than lions, giving them a substantial advantage in strength and size. Where lions are more agile and faster, the bear's raw power and size would likely be too much for the lion to overcome.
Well, Google's going to have to update that because we just definitively decided that the lion was on.
Did the Google have the bat with spikes in there in that argument? Because that's an important factor, bro.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
You know what else is bigger than the lion? Buffalo and hippo. But you know what? They still fucking win those fights too.
But buffalo doesn't have the claws or the teeth of a polar bear.
It also doesn't have a bat with spikes, but the lion does.
Let's move on to our second matchup. Hippo versus grizzly bear. Any immediate thoughts, or do you want me to just spin the wheel?
I mean, I'm going with a hippo in this one because hippos are fucking water tanks. They are some of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Grizzly bears are very dangerous. It would be a disgusting match, but a hippo is going to be too much for a grizzly bear.
You keep putting a lot of weight on the idea of these animals being quote unquote tanks, but you realize they're not made of steel, right? Like there's still flesh and muscle and fat underneath there.
I get it, but you have to understand, like, lions don't fuck with hippos. Elephants don't fuck with hippos. Alligators don't fuck with hippos. Unless they're picking off babies, they know to stay the fuck away from hippos because hippos are mean and dangerous. They have crazy force in their bites. Again, and they're one of the most dangerous animals in the entire fucking continent that they are located on. The grizzly bear is one of the most dangerous animals in its area, but I don't know.
All right.
I give it to the hippo.
Let's spin the wheel. Let's see what these guys get.
Is it a fucking handgun? Because this stupid shit. We're going to give the grizzly bear an AR-15 and the hippo a bazooka and assume they can both work them.
All right. The hippo gets the laser eyes. The hippo has laser eyes in this equation. And then the grizzly bear. Let's see what the grizzly bear gets.
The BFG from Doom.
A cannon. All right.
All right. So the grizzly bear gets a cannon, and the hippo has laser eyes.
How the fuck
is
a grizzly bear going to shoot a fucking cannon?
I'm going to need you to get a little bit of disbelief, okay? Suspension of disbelief is
he going to be loading the cannonballs into the cannon and then aiming it and lighting the match to burn the fuse to shoot the cannon?
He'll just pick up an already burning stick on the ground from when someone didn't take note of the fact that only they can prevent forest fires.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, how strong are these laser eyes we're talking about?
I mean, the
here?
laser eyes, they're definitely not going to like immediately shoot through anything, but with enough time, they're going to build up. I'm going to say, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to say it's like the magnifying glass in the sun.
Oh, that's a slow burn. That's a slow burn. That's
hold
against
on.
The fucking cannon. This is so
he needs
obnoxious.
we got to be Cyclops level laser eyes here. Otherwise,
But
what the fuck's the point?
Cyclops is fair. Cyclops is fair.
But Cyclops doesn't have laser eyes. He has concussive vision.
Shut up, nerd.
And you can't imagine a grizzly bear using a cannon? What's wrong with you?
No, I can't.
All right, we can go with Cyclops eyes. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So a hippo with Cyclops eyes versus a grizzly bear with a cannon. Who's winning that fight?
It's the fucking hippo.
It's definitely the hippo. Like, it's 100% the hippo. Have you ever seen those videos from like the 1920s to 40s where circus act dudes would just stand right next to a cannon and get shot in the stomach? They're just big fat guys that would just take a cannon shot to the stomach. That's all the hippo is going to be. That cannon's not going to do anything to it. I'm imagining an old school, very antique
like a
cannon.
circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hippo gets up, mildly irritated from the cannon shot, and just laser blasts the bear into oblivion.
Just slices him right in half. And
All
then
right,
eats him.
That takes us to our next matchup, a tiger versus a crocodile, which I think just alone, that is a pretty decent matchup, right? Without any added stuff.
If we're still holding this in the squared circle and the alligator or the crocodile is not in water, I'm giving
it doesn't have the death roll if it's not in the water.
Exactly. I'm giving it to the tiger.
I don't think they have to be in the water to death roll.
Well, no, but they definitely
it
get more
way
force.
more effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Yeah.
All right. So what is the tiger going to get? What is the tiger going to get? Let's spin. I'm not doing any duplicates during each round. So when
I'm excited to see the crocodile get an Abrams tank.
The tiger's late paying its taxes.
It's got an IRS audit.
I don't know what just happened. I was spinning the wheel. The tiger can swim and run as fast as the crocodile.
Okay. In the squared circle, that's not going to.
I don't know why
that would actually slow the tiger down.
Circle. And then the crocodile, well, they can still go as fast as they can, but that's the crocodile.
Once kissed their cousin too intimately. All the disadvantages my animals have are baggage. It's all.
So we're getting a deep view into Scott's subconscious right now. Like,
don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
The crocodile gets a big knife.
How specific?
Yeah. How big are we talking? Like a machete? Like.
Ollie wants to join in. He has an opinion on this.
He's telling us how big the knife is.
So you remember that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
That knife. That's the big knife.
Crocodile gets the knife from Crocodile Dundee. That's so on the nose that it's hard to imagine. All right. What was the tiger? Oh, the tiger can run and swim as fast as the crocodile. The crocodile has a big knife.
I mean, okay, sure. I feel like the tiger has 8 big knives, like just built in right there with them all the time.
And we're assuming that this is not in water, right?
It can be.
They've met at the watering hole.
Yeah.
But is the crocodile like in the water? And the tiger is like coming down to drink, doesn't know the tiger's there, and is.
How do you play video games? Like,
methodically.
I don't understand how you work.
Dude, you have seen the way that Dan levels up his characters with a level of OCD that is just unparalleled.
Dude, it tickles my tism, man.
If you've experienced any problems that were talked about in today's episode, there's probably a number you can call. I just want to throw that out there.
It's how Dan's neurospiciness shows itself.
Nero's spiciness.
I feel like I feel like this one's actually kind of tough.
Yeah, like if it's in the water, giving it to the crocodile. If it's out of the water, I'm going with the tiger. The big knife is irrelevant because it's a fucking crocodile.
With a knife?
Like, is
That's
it
scarier than just a regular crocodile.
Yeah.
It's on the end of its nose.
Yeah. I
Just-
refuse to picture like my crocodile coming out like Jets and Sharks and pulls out a really big knife and
just flips around a switchblade a couple times. Chink, chink,
Got
chink,
the
chink.
butterfly knife.
Oh yeah, butterfly knife. It's not a switchblade. That's not how those work.
It just ah!
Someone take this away from me. Yeah, it is kind of tough because I feel like the parameters, the environment are definitely a factor here. If we want to say the squared circle to eliminate,
Yeah, that's why I said it, to eliminate some of the BS from this.
then I do feel like it's the tiger in that instance as well. But the environment
the
is such a
top rope.
factor here.
Swimming in the air.
The tiger just does a fucking elbow from the top rope, narrowly avoiding the duct tape knife.
I'm gonna vote tiger as well. I
All right,
think
Dan, you say tiger?
If in the squared circle, the
do
tiger gets the win.
Matt, this is your bracket. What are we imagining a natural environment where these two interact, or are we putting them in somewhere neutral?
I 100% imagine this being an even playing field in some way.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to say tiger then. Yeah.
What I meant by even playing field is that they both, like, there's no disadvantage in the environment.
See, okay. Well, shit then. Because putting it in the squared circle is a disadvantage to the crocodile.
That's what I'm saying. Because the next one, like, if we put them in a ring, a fucking whale isn't going to be able to do much, right? So there's got to be a little bit of level setting. They're in space. They're in space with propulsion.
So they're both dead.
And suits.
Because it's the vacuum of space.
They're in space with oxygen and propulsion.
So
I was just picturing the tiger
in
just
space suits.
the tiger just doggy paddling in space. The crocodile
so just like
spinning.
Yeah, just ring the bell and they both just float off.
The crocodile goes one way, the knife floats the other.
He's biting at the knife to try to grab onto it.
This is the dumbest conversation we've ever had.
Oh my god.
That's the point.
Fuck, man, right. I don't know, because if you put that crocodile near water, it's gonna. I mean, I had a friend once that's they're terrified of sharks, and they said the idea of getting attacked by a shark is like the idea of is trying to fight a bear while also drowning at the same time. And I feel like the crocodile would be very similar experience. And it's got a big knife. No, I take it back. I'm going crocodile. If we don't want the environment to be a hindrance, then it's crocodile. Crocodile wins that fight. So now, Matt, it's a tie.
Dan, do you want to change your vote, or are you sticking?
I don't understand how an environment could be a hindrance.
You don't need to understand.
You could have just stopped with "I don't understand."
Like, if it's in water, then it's a hindrance to the tiger. If it's out of water, then I don't get. I do not know. I'm sticking with tiger because
they've met at the watering hole. They have both environments available to them.
I think if the crocodile has a big knife, that knife plays a factor. So I'm gonna move the crocodile forward. I think that big knife, like, that just takes a chunk out of the tiger's beautiful fur.
It's a game changer.
and then the crocodile can do the death spin.
Yeah.
I don't think anything we have ever done has hurt the logic side of my brain as much as this bracket is hurting.
Does the tiger have a chance? Yeah, but they're not great.
That's a box they don't have. On that note, our last matchup in the first round, an orca, a killer whale, versus a bald eagle. Now, again, I want to shut up. I want to state, environment plays no factor. It is not a hindrance.
Look, I was with you in the last matchup for that conversation, but
this one's a little far. It's a little stretched.
I don't know if I've stretched my imagination this far in years.
Okay, all right. Follow me here. These are both zombie versions of these predators in space. They cannot die.
Okay, let's spin the wheel. Let's see how that impacts this conversation. Because that's going to be, I feel like, an important factor in this debate.
They would still get frozen, by the way. They might
Shut
not be able
up.
to. Okay.
Man. Nerd alert.
Stop taking this to real life.
Oh, geek check.
The orca is on their own. They get no advantages or disadvantages. It is just one orca with no help.
Okay.
Then the bald eagle.
Again, the minority population at a disadvantage. Society.
The bald eagle gets a fucking submarine.
Okay. Here's the thing. The bald eagle is
on a boat.
Evolved to your imagination.
The fuck does that mean?
That means that the bald eagle's in the water, Dan. It's all in one environment. They can... Plus, they have brand new teeth and shit.
You don't get to designate my advantage.
That's valid.
I'm making my bald eagle an abnormal.
A what?
An abnormal. You remember, like, you know how, like, back in the day in, like, 90s cartoons were all about, like, animal-human hybrids? So you had, like, a shark, but it was, like, super muscular and ripped in some way.
Street sharks.
Oh, street
sharks. Gargoyles were kind of in that vein. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's my bald eagle.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your imagination bald eagle?
I'm making my fucking bald eagle a megalodon, and it's gonna...
That's not how evolution works, Daniel.
How the fuck do you... It's imagination, Matt. Don't tell me how to use my imagination. If we're going down this bullshit road, then
we're halfway down the road, bro. You're still behind.
My bald eagle can become a bald eagle equivalent of a megalodon.
For our cis straight ladies out there, I'm picturing a little Glenn Powell meets bald eagle. That's what's in my head.
What the fuck?
I don't know. just trying to appeal to all audiences, you know?
So, the bald eagle abdomal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Versus the orca, just on its own. Just a regular orca, who are the biggest predators in the ocean.
They're dicks, too. They're so mean.
Who's winning this fight?
I mean, in my scenario, in my imagination, the Megala Eagle is winning that fight.
See, that's better. You can't just say it's a different animal, but you can say it's a Megala Eagle, where it's like 100 feet long and can go like in and out of the ocean as needed. See, that's the evolution I'm talking about.
It can fly and swim, and it's got massive beak jaws with teeth. Not the first bird with teeth, but one of the few birds with teeth. Yeah, my Megala Eagle is going to win that battle.
Okay. Scott?
Okay, so like I feel like I'm developing dissociative identity disorder at the moment because I have three different things going. I have three separate visions happening in my head at the same time. One part of my brain is focusing on like it doesn't have the imagination. It doesn't have the... I'm just trying to figure out how a bald eagle and an orca would fight, period. Like if it was a real thing, what would that look like, right?
This is where that's getting you? Like, that didn't hit you any of the other... Okay.
No, because this one's so disjointed. Then I add in the other factors, and then from there it's like, okay, but what about on an even playing field? And again, that's not possible with this. They're so separated. But on the other hand, Dan painted a really clear picture of what a megala eagle would look like, and it's kind of hard to ignore that too. It's not my imagination; it's his, but it was a strong imagination. It was like he was bringing Barney level energy. Yeah, yeah. Like most things Dan has, it was contagious.
It's the next evolution of American symbolism is the megala eagle.
Fuck. All right, you convinced me. It's the eagle. Hashtag Murica. It's going to appear on some AI generated bullshit poster with Donald Trump in the background or foreground, excuse me.
It also has a mullet.
A mullet of feathers? Like,
Yeah.
The front is just bald so that it's more aerodynamic in the water.
Exactly.
Hydrodynamic?
And the back is
Glory.
a flowing mane of feathers.
All right, that gets us into our second round. Now, here's the thing. I still have 10 items on
Oh my God.
the wheel. Do I reset the wheel with some of the things we've already seen, or we just leave those off?
No, we take them off.
Okay, we leave those off. Okay.
Yeah. I want to see the IRS bracket or audit.
So the lion.
Currently involved in a messy divorce.
It's funny for custody.
It has no pride left.
The lion's new, the lion's new thing. It is the size of a tank.
Okay.
It is a gigantic fucking lion. Can you get your head around that, Dan?
Well, what kind of tank are we talking
Oh, for
about? Like a
fuck's sake.
Tiger,
Jesus
an
Christ.
Abrams? Or...
Dude, a big ass tank. It's
Okay.
really big. That's the point.
It's a megalo lion.
It's a megala tank.
All
The
right.
hippo has replaced its laser eyes. God, I cannot wait for this one. Oh! The fact that it did land on these. The hippo is the size of a house cat.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
We're going
Okay.
a little long on this episode. We can make this one quick.
It's a tank lion.
Yeah,
The
it's definitely
tank
the tank lion. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no competition here. That poor hippo, it's going to get stepped on without even the lion knowing it happened.
Yeah.
I can't believe the size of a house cat came up right after that. All right. The lion, the tank-sized lion moves on and will face the winner of the next matchup. Crocodile.
I'm going to... Oh, well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what were you going to say about
No, I'll save it for after this matchup.
Okay, all right.
And then I'll make a proposal.
Okay. The crocodile with most of what's left are disadvantages.
The crocodile with crippling debt.
You're not far off. Crocodile with narcolepsy.
Okay.
So it's going to fall asleep mid-fight. Okay.
Versus a bald eagle. And the bald eagle yeah. Is using a wheelbarrow for movement.
So is it like sitting in it and like having to scoot its way across? Like, is that...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the sleepy crocodile. I think even if it takes a nap, there's nothing that the bald eagle or the wheelbarrow is going to be able to do to kill the crocodile. It might just wake it up and make it angry.
What kind of vertical I don't know this. What kind of vertical does a crocodile have? Is it going to be able to like get up in the wheelbarrow?
I mean, in this make-believe world that we are playing in. I imagine that it could like swim like a dolphin and jump.
I guess a bald eagle.
And fall asleep on its way.
So,
It just lands
but
in the wheelbarrow. The
it
eagle
doesn't
is
have
like,
to go
what the
that
fuck?
far because the bald eagle is in a wheelbarrow. And, you know, that's not that high off the ground unless it's like a flying wheelbarrow. I don't know.
I guess the center of gravity
Wheelbarrows
for a
don't
wheelbarrow.
fly, Dan.
You fucking idiot.
How stupid of me.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, like a wheelbarrow is kind of top heavy and they are pretty easy to tip over. So like the crocodile is going to be able to knock that bald eagle out. And then what if it doesn't have the wheelbarrow for movement, it's just stuck there? Is it like a paralyzed bald eagle that doesn't have a wheelchair and only can afford a wheelbarrow?
A handicapable
What?
bald eagle.
What a commentary on the American healthcare system, Matthew. I appreciate that.
Healthcare for all.
I think the crocodile gets this one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Crocodile with narcolepsy beats the eagle in a wheelbarrow. Come on, Dan. This is fun.
Okay, so I have a proposal for the final round here. I think we do another spin. We add those to it, and then we carry the attributes all the way through. So, for example, the lion will have a bat with spikes, be the size of a tank, and then whatever your third thing is. It's all encompassing.
Ooh, I don't hate that. Dan, can your imagination understand this?
No, my imagination gave up on polar bear versus lion, but I'm here and let's do it.
All right, let's see what these final two are.
Oh, okay. So we hit most of the disadvantages, so this is going to be interesting. Lion with a bat with spikes that's the size of a tank. They also have they are missing an appendage.
So it's replaced its appendage with the giant bat with spikes.
There we go.
There's
the imagination.
And it is the size of a tank.
Yes,
correct.
That's the only answer.
Gotta think that's going to hinder its running speed.
It might. Crocodile with a big knife with narcolepsy.
Narcoleptic crocodile with a big knife. Yeah. Matt's got his face on.
It was so close to being two of those. It was very close to being times two, but instead.
So it would have had two big knives and double.
A really
it would
bad
have been
case.
Two crocodiles.
Oh.
Followed by an army of mosquitoes.
Okay. Is this a loyal army of mosquitoes, or
yes,
or are they just following
loyal,
it around?
No, they are loyal to the crocodile. They are his army.
Mosquitoes are
or her army.
The mosquito is like the deadliest animal on the planet.
That is correct.
But that is because it carries things like malaria. I don't think lions are susceptible. Look at me using logic to fucking.
Are lions susceptible?
I don't think so. I think they can be carriers, but I don't think
malaria. No, lions are not susceptible to malaria.
Exactly.
So
they can be carriers of malaria, but they do not.
So the mosquitoes
die.
The mosquitoes are an annoyance, but
I was going to say, could they annoy the lion enough?
How many mosquitoes are we talking? Like,
how dense?
We're talking millions of
How
mosquitoes.
dense is this cloud of mosquito?
It's like a solid thing. Imagine.
We're talking like old Tom and Jerry cartoons where like 100%. All the bugs would fly together in a way that like they could form shapes and stuff.
Yep, they are, and they're hive mind, being controlled by the narcoleptic crocodile
with a knife.
With a big knife.
But wait. When the crocodile falls asleep, does the connection between him and the mosquitoes like disappear? Do they stop attacking and just start being like, "Hey, we're free"? You know?
No, they're fully loyal to the crocodile's reign.
Okay.
Not as long as he has possession of the knife, because that's what
the
gives
knife
him
is
control
the
over
is
the mosquitoes.
the tool.
It's an ancient Egyptian relic. that gives him control over mosquitoes. That might have been culturally insensitive now that I say it. Well, I don't know. Okay. I mean, again, I think the mosquitoes are a hindrance. They're annoying. I mean, I guess they could be used to blind the lion. That kind of might give the crocodile an advantage. But
I mean, a lion's eyesight is, well, they are nocturnal hunters.
Dark and blinded by mosquitoes are not the same thing.
I get it, but it relies on more than sight for hunting. Like,
okay, that's fair.
It's a lot more hearing and scent, like smell.
It'll be just like sniffing the air, like, ooh, crocodile.
It just
smells like chicken.
Mosquitoes pulled into its nose.
That's true.
Its nostrils.
Like, if
it's a big ass lion.
Yeah,
that's true. The size is kind of a disadvantage in that space. A lot of mosquitoes are going to fit up that schnoz.
So here's what I'm going to say. I think the mosquitoes will be a challenge, but I think at the end of the day, there is nothing that millions of mosquitoes or a singular narcoleptic crocodile, even with his big knife, I don't think they're going to be able to do enough damage to a tank-size, bat-wielding lion. I think it's got to be the lion.
Hold on. Hold on. I think we might have done a disservice here.
To animals?
Yes. To
logic?
Yes. Because if you think about a human, right? Take who loses a leg, for example, right? Mm-hmm. And they have it replaced with a prosthetic. And they're wearing that prosthetic through the course of a fight, would you say that they were missing the appendage during the fight?
I'd say they were missing their natural appendage, but probably not.
So, like, if we say that the spiked bat is replacing the leg, then is it really missing an appendage? Or has it replaced its appendage? Should this be a 3-legged lion that either is disadvantaged because it's missing a back leg or doesn't have a front leg and is just waving a bat around while like because I feel like giving the spiked bat on as an attack, like that's not missing an appendage. It's not you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, but that appendage could also be the tail.
No, it's definitely a leg of some kind.
Okay.
As the judge, I do think that was my intent.
Yeah. No, I think that was clear. I think Dan's dumb.
I still think the lion's going to be too much to take down. I don't. Again, missing a leg. I still think the lion that is the size of a tank and is somehow wielding a bat with spikes is not going to be damaged enough by the crocodile or its big knife or the millions of mosquitoes to die. I think the crocodile will eventually lose because all it's going to take is one good stomp from that lion or one good bite from that lion and the crocodile is done.
I feel like if we're not replacing the appendage with the spiked bat, then if the lion's missing a back leg, it's not as impactful as if he's missing a front. Because if he's missing a front, it's going to make using that bat really difficult. So if we're not replacing it, then I think he's got a 50-50 shot. If we do replace it, then 2/3 of it's fine. So he's got 66%. So we're talking about 156% chance that the lion's going to win anyway. So yeah, I think the tank size makes a difference. I think the bat makes a difference. I don't think the appendage is going to slow it down enough. I'm going to go lion. I think lion wins this.
Steiner Math present says that the lion that has a bat with spikes, is the size of a tank, and is missing an appendage would beat a crocodile with a big knife that is narcolepsy. Which we didn't really that didn't factor in at all of this decision, that is followed by an army of mosquitoes. The lion takes it as the predator of all predators.
Yeah, I think you made a solid point there at the end too. That that crocodile sees the lion coming with the spiked bat for a leg.
That's
It's
a tick
gonna
right
get
there.
it's gonna get terrified. It's gonna get triggered, and it's gonna pass out and fall asleep.
It's very much going to
And
be
then
like, what the fuck is that?
It's gonna get stomped. Yeah. All right. This was the strangest conversation I've ever had.
And
Yeah,
that was
agreed.
the
And
goal of this bracket.
We've had some strange conversations. Can we all admit that the real loser in this is logic, and the real winner in this is how cute my dog is?
She looks very mad at you right now.
She
She's
does
ready
look
for
quite
this-
upset. Actually.
She's ready for this episode to be over.
She's on trazodone, so she is incredibly doped up. We took her to the vet today, and she had a bad time.
Tell us what, because you like saying it. What did she do at the vet?
She whined a lot, but she had her annual checkup and blood work and had her anal glands expressed, which is where the trazodone comes in.
He does say that with a level of comfort that I'll just never achieve.
Every
Hey,
time he has to
look,
bring it up.
You don't understand. It's very dangerous for an animal to have that clogged up. So you got to take care of it, and it's
Folks.
smelly, and I don't want to do it.
Folks, have your pets' anal glands expressed.
Yeah.
That'll be our catchphrase. We're
Yeah. Now,
we're
hold on.
almost
Don't-
like Bob Barker.
Don't just and remember,
Remember, folks.
express your pet's anal glands, but don't do it on your own. Let a professional do it.
Yeah.
All right, you do not want that Chihuahua.
There's
to be coming
probably a
after you.
YouTube video for it somewhere.
Yeah, 100% there is.
On that
And
note, we
watches
want to
it on
thank
a
you for
nightly
listening.
basis. What the fuck?
On that note, we thank you for listening. We question your choices, but we thank you anyway. As usual, like, share, follow. That helps so much. Tell your friends about the awesome podcast that you just listened to. And encourage them to listen as well. You can find us on all the socials. We're on Facebook and Blue Sky, and we've got a Discord, and there's a TikTok. And Matt and I sometimes play video games on Twitch. We might get Dan on there someday. Probably not tomorrow. But anyway, yeah. Aaron O'Donnell from Aaron O'Donnell Music on YouTube. Thanks for
Are
the
you
track you heard at
tapping
the
your
beginning.
microphone?
I just realized I was tapping my desk. I apologize for the auditory effect of that. Yeah, thanks to Aaron O'Donnell. Matt, Dan, thank you guys for putting your brackets together. This has been a fun few weeks.
I want to thank you two for playing with me in this sandbox of malarkey that is
Fuckery.
predators with random weapons / disadvantages / figuring out how to fight each other. So thank you.
Yeah. What do we have coming up next? We got a big bracket. We got another one. What do we got?
Man, I feel like this is gonna tear households apart. So you're gonna need to listen to this with your significant other. Whether they listen to it or not, or enjoy it, put it on. Okay. Pump that volume up to like
11.
7.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And get ready to debate chocolate versus candy.
So Dan, tell us a little bit more. How's that going to work?
So we are taking the most popular chocolate bars and putting them up against the most popular non-chocolate candies. So think about Starburst, Twizzlers versus Hershey Kisses or Hershey's bars.
Hershey Kisses are not on there, actually.
Yeah,
However,
they're not.
little spoiler. However, what I will say, you're going to have to hang on till the last episode of that bracket because chocolate's going up against chocolate for the first few rounds.
Yeah.
Candy's going up against candy for the first few rounds.
We've got 16 chocolate, 16 candies. We're splitting them basically conferences in a way that we've never done before. And we'll get down to the best chocolate, the best candy, and then they'll pit off to decide the best overall. So we've got that coming up starting next week.
And
we are
none
going.
of them will have narcolepsy.
I was actually just going to make the opposite joke. And that last matchup, we're going to give them an advantage or a disadvantage at random. It's a Milky Way with a bat with spikes versus
Twizzlers with crippling depression.
So join us next week as we begin that debate and join the conversation again. Find us on Discord, find our social medias. We appreciate it. Guys, it's been an episode. I am going to go take care of the fact that I am sleepless in Philadelphia. I'm Scott.
Yeah, came up with this bullshit. I'm Matt.
And I am still unchoosing this bracket. I'm Dan.
Say what you want. This bracket was new and it was fun. All right.
It
This
was
is
an
the best
interesting
bracket.
combo.
It was the best bracket. On that note, bye-bye.